is a very particular kind of exhaustion that I want to talk about today. Not the exhaustion that comes from working too many hours or from a bad week or from a project that just took it out of you. The exhaustion I'm talking about is the kind that there is even when things are not especially busy. The kind that does not lift on holiday, the kind that makes Sunday evenings feel like a threat, kind that means you arrive at work already half empty and leave wondering how much longer you can keep doing this. And the confusing part, the part that makes this so hard to name out loud, is that from the outside, everything looks fine. You are successful. You are good at what you do. You have achieved things that matter. So, why does it feel like the work is taking more than it's giving to you? I want to talk about that today because the answer is almost never what people assume it is. My name is Clare Deacon. I am a positive psychology and nervous system specialist, and this is the Happier Life podcast. Let me be specific about what this actually feels like because vague descriptions don't help anyone. You used to care about this work. There was a time when it energized you, at least in part, when a good day at work felt like a good day, when you were genuinely invested in what you were building. And now you're not sure when that changed, but it did. The work feels flat. You go through the motions. You produce good output because you are capable and professional, but the inner engine is not running the same way it was. You are tired in a way that is hard to explain to anyone who has not felt it. Not physically tired exactly, but tired underneath. Depleted at a level that sleep doesn't really touch. And because you are still functioning, still delivering, still being competent, nobody around you knows how you're feeling. And because nobody knows, there is nowhere to put it. So you carry it. And every week it gets a little heavier. And you wonder how long you can keep this up before something gives. Notice what it's like in your body when you imagine walking into work tomorrow. That is not a small thing. That is a physical response and it's information. Work depletion, that rest cannot touch, is almost never about workload. It is almost always about misalignment. When your work is aligned with who you are, when it draws on what matters to you, when it gives you back something alongside what it takes, you can sustain enormous amounts of effort. You might be genuinely busy and still feel alive at the end of it. When your work is misaligned with who you are, even a moderate workload drains you because you are not just doing tasks, you are performing a version of yourself that just doesn't fit anymore. And performing is exhausting in a way that actual work is not. This is the distinction that changes everything. The question is not, am I working too much? It is the work I am doing still connected to who I actually am? For a lot of women who I work with, the answer is that I used to be, and quietly over time, it stopped being. A career was built at a particular point in their lives with a particular version of themselves in the driving seat. And that version has evolved. She has different values now. It has different things that matter. The work was a good fit at 32 is not necessarily a good fit at 45. And because the career looks successful from the outside, because it represents years of effort and achievement and identity, admitting that it no longer fits feels like a betrayal of everything she has worked for. Here is what I want to offer instead of that framing. The work no longer fitting is not a failure, it's a signal that you have grown. And growth that goes unacknowledged, growth that you try to push down so you can keep showing up to something that has stopped fitting, that is what creates the exhaustion you cannot explain. I want to be direct with you about what happens if this continues. Running on empty does not stay the same, it compounds. The depletion that you are managing today is a smaller version of what it becomes in 2 years if nothing changes. And here is the thing that most people do not say out loud. When you are operating from depletion, you are not just unhappy at work. You are less available for everything else, for the relationships you value, for the parts of your life that could sustain you, for the version of yourself who has things she wants to do, people she wants to be with, a life she wants to build. The career that is draining you is not just costing you professionally, it is costing you at home, in your body, in your capacity to show up as the person who you want to be. I have worked with women who were deep in this, completely depleted, going through the motions of a career that had stopped fitting years before they came to me. After doing this work properly, those same women describe something specific. They stop dreading Sunday evenings. They make decisions about their working lives from what they actually want, not from what they have already built or what they feel they should want. They wake up without their first thought being about how to get through the day. They know what they want professionally for the first time in years, and they start building towards it, even when the path is not immediately obvious, because they finally understand what they are building towards. That shift is real, but it requires taking this seriously and not waiting until the depletion becomes a crisis. The first step is separating the symptoms from the source. The symptoms are the exhaustion, the flatness, the going through the motions. The source is misalignment, and the two need different responses. Managing the symptoms, taking more breaks, trying to find moments of joy within a structure that fundamentally does not fit, is useful but limited. It is like adjusting the sails without changing course. The work that actually changes things starts with a question that most people avoid because it feels too large. What do I actually want? Not what have I built, but what makes sense on paper. Not what would be hard to walk away from. What do I actually want from my working life? And is what I am doing now pointing in that direction? That question does not have to be answered overnight, but it has to be asked. And it has to be taken seriously when the answer surfaces. If this has landed somewhere real today, I want to say something honestly. The depletion you are feeling is a signal, not a crisis, not a failure, a signal. And signals are most useful when you pay attention to them before they become emergencies. A cuppa and a chat is a free conversation with me to find out whether working together is the right fit. No commitment to anything beyond the conversation. You can book your space at happiercoach.com/chat. You do not have to decide today whether your career needs to change. Do not dismiss what your body is already telling you. Until next time, new episodes are released each Wednesday. Take care of you.